Yes, people, what's happening? And welcome to the Frankie Allen Podcast. You are here with your host, Will Cranny, alongside the UK's most feared comedian, Frankie Allen. How are you doing, Dad?
That's me, Frankie Allen. Yeah, doing great, actually. I haven't been abroad. I haven't been to Tenerife or Benidorm, anywhere at all. But I've been doing a bit of sunbathing. It's been very warm and hot here this week.
You're looking well, to be fair.
Yeah, well, if you get out in the sun, you'll get a tan.
Where have you been sunbathing?
In a park.
What do you do when you go down the park? You take a lounge, isn't it?
Look, I used to have my house, didn't I? In the house, I had a lovely garden, big garden and everything. So I've sold a fucking house because I didn't like the neighbours, didn't like the people in the street.
Yeah.
They were fucking horrible snobs and everything. Not my cup of tea. As everybody knows, I'm one of these fellas, don't give a fuck about having a big address or a posh address or my house worth this, so-and-so, so-and-so. No. Moved back to Kensington. I'm in a little fucking house, but I'm very happy there. The yard, there's a backyard, but the yard is tiny. So even like a fucking tiny man, the smallest man on earth, couldn't, like you'd have to go like that to try and sunbathe. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I've got a sun lounge, yeah. So when it's warm, I just go to the park. Nobody sees me. I'm not like a fucking, pervert in the park. I'm just lying on the thing for an hour a day.
Yeah.
And just, there was a fella today that's like on a bike and he went, all right, mate, I called you the Sunbed man. I said, why is that? I don't use sunbeds. No, you're here lying on your bed every day. I said, yeah, when it's warm, mate. Just a dickhead, but he was all right. But he just stayed there for an hour a day. Came home.
Well, people watching this might not realise that it's sunshine outside because of the fact that you're trackied up to death, as you would say. But the reason you're trackied up is?
The reason I'm trackied up is this. I'm on a podcast. You've got to look a bit professional. You can't come on with a pair of shorts on and a T-shirt.
That's what I've got on.
I know, yeah, but you're only young. For me, it's not a good look, really. People think, oh, look at Frankie. It's a fucking scruff. But no, it's air conditioned in here, so I'm not bothered anyway.
Yeah.
And it's gone cooler outside. We've just been for a cup of tea down in Bowl Street, which is like just a few yards away. So it's gone a lot cooler. So I'm glad, really, I've got my trackie on. And I am always trackied up to fuck.
That's the one. So listen, today, obviously the last couple of episodes that you watched, it was a little bit more about getting to know the real Frankie Allen. But we know people love Frankie's horror stories from clubs, getting potentially filled in the past, having near escapes.
Near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Near-death, NDE, near-death experiences I've had on the clubs.
And my dad has come up with a list today so that we can run you through some of those boss stories. Before we do, once again, I'm going to ask you something off script.
Okay.
That you don't know that I'm going to ask you.
Surprise question, go on.
And this is why I was leading into the question about wearing the trackie. Now, I've heard through the grapevine.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Go on.
That you've had a trackie stolen from you recently.
Yeah, I have had a trackie stolen from me.
Go ahead. So I don't know this and I've been waiting to hear this story.
The story is, a few months ago when I was still in my fucking big house with a garden and all that fucking stuff, I'm very lazy. I don't like doing the garden, doing the borders, don't even like fucking cleaning up. So I used to go to the car wash by me in Norris Green, and all the lads that work in a car wash, they're all good lads and whatever. In fact, it was a bit funny thing, because I went in one day and a fella went, oh, hello, yeah, so you're next. And he shouted, Mafia Frank is next.
Yeah.
I said, what the fuck's this?
Yeah.
So this fella said, oh, no, you look like the Mafia. So he called me Mafia Frank, whatever. So I asked one of the lads, did he want to come and clean up? Anyway, he was a foreign guy, came along and he was fantastic, cleaning the house up, doing the gardens once a week. In the end, I'm lazy. I'm a very lazy person, live on my own. So I thought, fuck this. He can do the dishes, give him 20 quid. I've always got cash, 30 quid, 40 quid, whatever it was. Some days I'd go, there's not much to do. Do you want to do the fridge, clean the fridge out, or do the bathroom, or do a bit of fucking washing, or send in the baggie? I've got a washing machine, but to get a big wash done, send in the laundrette and all that. And he was dead happy. He was over the moon, with a few quid. Yeah. And he phoned me up, any work this week, boss? And I'd give him a bit of work. One day, I bought a lovely tracksuit. It was my pride and joy, black with a white stripe down it, and looked great in it. Just one of those things that you think you look great. You know, it was fantastic. I loved it. I washed it once and I put it on the line with about 6 pegs. It was my pride and joy. Then when I went to take it down, it was gone.
Yeah.
I thought, what the fuck? I'm certain it was on the line this morning.
Yeah.
And somebody been in the garden and took it off and pinched it. Anyway, I went all over the house, ransacked the fucking house, lifting the couch up to see if it fell on the floor, gone under the couch, lifting the bed up. I had a hamper with all old clothes. I was taking them out one by one and marking down with the pen, 1 shorts, a big cross over there. Yeah. So in the end, after 2 days, it wasn't in the house.
Yeah.
But I was totally puzzled. So anyway, months went by, 8 months, 9 months. So I'm picking up this guy, I won't mention his name, who's working for me. And he's very tall, about 6'1". So he jumps in my car. He's got my Trackie on.
Go on.
He's got the fucking Trackie on. And you can see that it's mine, because I'm not big. I'm only like 5'9". I've always had little legs. So he's got these little and they're nearly at his fucking knees because he's dead tall. He looked like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
So I went, and to me, it's like somebody, I don't know what, it's kind of like a sacred cow with me. Don't touch my Trackie. I'll fight anyone for my Trackie.
Mm.
So it's a strange thing. And he went, hello, boss. I said, hello. You've got my fucking Trackie on. And I grabbed him and he went, no. It was in the bin. I said, it wasn't in the fucking bin. You've got my Trackie on. So I said, get it off. No, I can't. I'm going to, fuck it. So I said, get out the car. I just fucked him off. So I haven't used him since, but he definitely stole it. I could see it was my tracksuit.
Was he a mate of yours before that?
Yeah, he was great. He was coming to the house, cleaning up. We were like friends, it was strange. And even when I was moving house, he was helping me. It's a bit sad, really. I never dreamed in a million years that it was him. I thought someone had come in off the street, like a baghead or something, and just took it off the line. But I didn't think he'd done
How did you know that it was definitely your Trackie that he crafted?
Yeah, I could see it was him. If he would have got the same Trackie in his size, I would have said, okay. But you could see half of his fucking leg. It was my Trackie.
Did he have the top on as well?
The top was like a monkey jacket. He was like that, like a straight jacket. And you could see his wrists and half of his arm and all. It was my Trackie. And he knew it was. He didn't even deny it at first. He went, it was in the bin. I said, it wasn't in the fucking bin. Get it off. And he wouldn't get it off. So anyway, fucked him off. He's gone now anyway.
Fair play. Did you ever buy the same Trackie or get another one?
Bought the same Trackie?
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, I didn't buy the same Trackie. What happened then is I started getting stuff, didn't I, from Under Armour. They were sending me stuff.
Hold on a minute. This is another story that, like, obviously for someone like you think it's dead normal, right?
Yeah.
But for anyone listening to this, if you explain why you were getting sent stuff from Under Armour, they would be bamboozled that would actually happen to someone.
Well, what it was, during my act, I do a routine, my 9/11 routine, and I kind of refer to Under Armour quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the next thing is, I got this fucking text off Under Armour, we'll be sending you this parcel.
That's not legit.
What do you mean?
You know that's not the legit story. I want the legit story.
Well, don't start, Will, trying to make a liar out of me again.
You know that's not legit.
Well, you tell what happened then, because you know more than me.
Somebody smashed into your car.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Sorry, somebody smashed into the back of my fucking car.
Go on. Sorry.
Forgot about that.
Go on.
Someone smashed into my fucking car and I jumped out.
Wait, where was it? Let's set the scene
on
for people.
Broadway in Liverpool, Norris Green.
Okay.
And I got out, and he got out. He's a Manchester lad, Carl. He's a good friend of mine now. Wasn't much damage, but his bird got out, and his bird went, she was a scout, she went, oh, Frankie Allen and all this person. We got in touch with him. And then through him, I think, he had contacts in Under Armour, and he said, I'm a friend of Frankie Allen, and then he started sending me stuff. That was it.
That is mad. Do you not think that's mad for people listening?
Not really.
So, no, the mad part about it is that I find fascinating, and obviously this fella's a good mate of yours now, but if somebody smashed into my car, I wouldn't end up being mates with them.
But, well, there was no damage at all.
No,
really.
I know. Yeah. I'm not saying I'd be fuming and saying I'm not going to be mates with them. But if somebody bumped into my car and was like, "Can we exchange details?" I wouldn't end up chilling with them. Do you know what I mean? That is a mad vibe. Don't you think?
He's in the business
of what?
Show business. He's in entertainment. Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, what he does, or what he used to do, and what he's doing now sometimes as well. He was like a big boss in if I can mention the name, Joe Bloggs. Now, Joe Bloggs was a few years ago. It was a clothing line like Under Armour and things, and he worked for Joe Bloggs. And he used to kind of like people on the TV, especially with the BBC. I won't mention the names. A lot of people in the BBC, he used to provide them with clothes to wear, kind of product placements.
Yeah.
They'd be wearing something, and it'd be like a Joe Bloggs t-shirt, and he'd get money for that, if he befriended them and got them to wear stuff.
Got you.
So yeah, he's in the business.
No, I get it, and I know that's your personality. You just like open to your mates with anyone, but I just find it fascinating that you had a car crash and ended up becoming mates with the fella.
Okay.
You have to admit that is a bit mad, you don't think?
Not really. It's stranger things have happened.
Yeah, true say. And a lot of the stranger things that have happened are probably on this list that my dad has provided me with. So the theme for today is escaping from venues.
Okay.
Now, obviously, this is a hazardous guess. Like, you're going to have to guess at this.
Yeah.
But how many times do you reckon you've had to actually escape from venues, as in run away from a threat in your life?
I would say I've had 5, what I call NDEs, near-death experience, that I've nearly been killed. But I've had about, I'd say 25 or 30 escapes.
Just full-on escapes?
What they say is I had to facilitate an escape. Get out of the venue somehow.
Okay, sound. So the first one I want to talk about is Silverdale Rugby Club. Now, first of all, where is Silverdale?
Silverdale is just down by Stoke. It's in Staffordshire, just outside of Stoke. And Silverdale is a colliery. It's a mine, or it used to be a big mine in Staffordshire, a coal mine. In fact, round Silverdale, just outside Stoke, they don't really speak as Stoke people do. They've got a bit of a different accent. The reason being, during the 50s and 60s, thousands of people came down from mines that were closing in the northeast in Newcastle and settled in Silverdale to work on their mine.
Okay. And you did a show at the rugby club there. Was it just a random show? Was it anything important? What was it? It was
a show with 3 strippers.
Okay.
In those days, I think it was about 1990 or something. There were 3 girls on with me. Mm-hmm. So it was a great night. Went down a bomb even then, bringing the fucking house down, having a laugh with the lads. The girls were on, doing all the dancing and things, coming off the end together. Won't go into detail, but quite spicy at the end. And the lads were made up, and the lads used to pass a fucking pint glass down and collect money for the girls to do extras at the end.
No, go on. So you're on with 3 strippers. Is the show going well? Do you go on before the strippers? What's occurring at the event?
I go on before the girls, do about half an hour MC, and just like you bringing me on now, bring the girls on and off, put your hands together. Roxy, give her a big round of applause. There she goes. Be seeing her in the second half. Then bring them back on in the second half. Then I do another spot as well in the second half.
Yeah.
So it was a great night.
And so what happens? Is there a problem at the show? Is there trouble?
What happened in the end, we came outside. This lad had been heckling me in the show. And it got a little bit funny, And I said, fuck off, mate. You're just a dickhead. But he went quiet. Now, just showing how long ago it was, we got out in the car park. I was with 2 girls in the car. And they got in the back and I'm driving. And as we're getting in the car, this fella and his mates came out. And he said something funny and I said, fuck off. And in those days, for your radio in the car, you had an aerial. Fucking big aerial, I had a Ford Capri, a fucking big whip aerial. And this prick, he went over to the aerial and he grabbed it and tried to snap it.
Okay.
So I just jumped out. I was nearly in the car. I jumped out the car, just pushed him. I said, hey, fuck off. So I got back in the car and we drove away. Then he started chasing us.
Okay.
But I mean, really chasing us like a movie.
And have you got the 3 strippers in the car with you?
two girls in the back, and me in the front, the three of us.
Yeah.
So we're driving, and it was a very dark night. We're driving through the countryside, and they're right behind us. So we're driving, I'm doing like normal speed, 30, and they're very, very close to us. And one of the girls said, Frankie, these fellas are chasing us. And I said, they're not chasing us. I think, or I knew they were chasing us really. I think they're just having a laugh or being a bit weird or whatever. The next thing, they banged into the back of us.
Yeah.
They were trying to stop us. I thought, fucking hell, no, there's about 5 of them in the car. This is a problem. We are miles away from anywhere which was lit up. It was totally in the middle of Staffordshire, pitch black, little bit of moonlight, no other cars on the road, no police, nobody that you could ask for help. And I thought, what the fuck's this? So I'm driving and I'm putting my foot down and we came to a red light. You know, there's always red lights, there's always intersections, junctions, wherever you go. Even literally in the middle of nowhere, it went right through the fucking red light. They came right through the red light. It was just like a film, like a movie you'd go and see. So then bang into the back of me again. So I thought, fuck this, I've got to do something. So we came round the corner and I really put my foot down about 100 miles an hour. And I pulled up just by a lay-by. And they were screaming, Frankie, don't stop. What have you stopped for? What I stopped for? In those days, I used to lock my car up with a crook lock. And I've got one now. They've come back. People are using them again.
One of them big like things that go over your steering wheel.
It goes over your steering wheel. It's a bit of a low-tech method, but it can stop you getting your fucking car pinched. Yeah. Because as you know now with your own bird, you know, they can steal your car using a laptop. But if you've got a crook lock on, they can't. So I came right round the fucking corner, jumped out of the car, grabbed this crook lock, and they come round the corner. So just threw the crook lock at them. And it smashed into the windscreen.
Front windscreen.
Yeah. And the fella screamed. He went, it was just like a movie.
Yeah.
He went, ah, like that. Don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
Then he was still driving. He went, fuck off. And he drove right into a field.
Go on.
So we got in the car. You won't believe this, I'm going to tell you. Got in the car. The girls were in. So bang, flying down a motorway. Flying down the country road towards the motorway. And I saw 2 lights at the back. I thought, this can't be them. They've just gone into a fucking field.
Yeah.
It was them.
No.
With all the winds, like a horror movie, with all the windshield smashed and everything. I'm still driving. They were catching up with us. And then we come to these fucking traffic lights and a roundabout. So I saw this police car going round the roundabout. So I nearly crashed into the police car and they stopped and I stopped. And they just caught up with us. And I said to the police, they're chasing us. They're trying to kill us. Get them.
Yeah.
So the police got them and took them away.
Go on.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Good memory there, but like obviously that must have been a stressful situation. Like after that,
I think like it's like everything in there. People, you know, you hear about these people who are kind of like trapped underwater or something, or people who are trapped on a mountain, survival skills. I think your adrenaline kicks in and something else happens to you where you go into fight or flight mode, or you can go into both survival mode. You go into survival mode.
Yeah, sweet. So obviously you got away from this one. I don't know about this one next. But what happened at the Angel in Pad? Is it called Angel Pad?
No, that's not like that wasn't an escape story, really.
Okay, so if you have a quick look at that, what's
would you
kind of
rather
like?
Me focus on escape stories?
Yeah, let's go for the escape story next.
Okay.
Today's episode is brought to you by Scalp Tech, the leaders in scalp micropigmentation treatments. As you may know, Frankie himself has had the treatment done. He was bald and he couldn't go for a hair transplant due to weak donor hair. Now, he looks like he has a full head of hair, but has just chosen to shave it. It's taken years off him. He looks more like me brother than me dad now. Frankie, tell us, how's life been since you got your hairline back?
It's life-changing. It really is. I'm not one of these fellas that, you know, kind of exaggerate or tell lies. It's life-changing. The answer to my prayers, I was kind of fucked up over my hair like a lot of fellas are for many, many years. Tried different things, went down the road, transplantation, didn't want to work, you know, it didn't work for me, and tablets and whatever. This is the greatest thing that you're ever going to get done to your head. Get it done. Scalp Tech.
Scalp Tech offers a cutting-edge solution to hair loss that looks natural. Whether you want to add density to thinning hair, cover up scars, or create a full hairline, Scalp Tech has got you covered. Our mate, Terry Jones at Scalp Tech, he is the best in the business. He's won the UK Scalp Technician of the Year Awards 3 times, so you're definitely in safe hands with him. They have locations all over the UK, including Fiasco near Liverpool, Newcastle, London and Shrewsbury, as well as Jersey and Rotterdam. They're really close friends of ours, and without them, we couldn't make this podcast happen. Mention the Frankie Allen Podcast to get a special discount on your booking. Visit scalptech.com to learn more and book your free consultation today. All the details, including the link to book your consultation and the contact information, are in the show notes or the video description.
Get it done. You won't regret it. Look at me. Proof of the pudding's in the eating. I've got no hair really. Look at it. It's fabulous. It's great. Get it done.
Thanks to Scalp Tech for sponsoring today's episode. Now, let's get back to the show.
Well, this is a bit of an escape story. This is a funny one, a strange one. Not really an escape, just a lucky break for me that I could have ended up in jail. But what happened, I was doing a show and it was in a place called Dwelling Houses, which is an area of York. Mm-hmm. And it was an afternoon show on a Sunday. So drive up to the venue, everything's great, going through York. As we're getting out into the countryside towards where this venue was, I think it was called the Orchard Club. As I'm driving, I saw this fella with no fucking clothes on at all, bare naked, running like fucking hell. Mm. So he's running down the street. There's nobody else in the street. It was just a quiet place. And behind him was this fella with all his clothes on with a fucking big hammer.
Go on.
Now I thought, that's something to do with a bird. He's been in bed with this bird and he's found him.
Yeah.
And he's jumped out of a window or something and he's running like fucking hell to get away from this fella. So the poor fella was running literally for his life. Mm. Now the fella's quite a distance away from him. So I just pulled up on the pavement, opened the door and said, get in. So the fella with no clothes got in. Mm. So he's sitting there, he's only a young kid, about 19, 20 or something like that. Yeah. So I've got a fella with no fucking clothes, a kid. I'm a grown man. In my car, he's got fuck all on.
Yeah.
I went, so I'm driving, and the next thing is I saw a police car parked up somewhere, and he must have seen me driving off.
Yeah, but wait, when this fella gets in the car, did he explain himself? Was he like...
He couldn't speak, he was breathless, he couldn't talk.
Go on.
He was going, and I said, you're all right, mate? He's going, thank you. I couldn't speak.
Yeah.
So this fellow was trying to kill him with a hammer. So he's in my car, I've got a naked fucking young man in my car. I'm driving the car. There's no sign of the fellow with the fucking hammer.
Yeah.
And then the police, I turned around, I saw this copper, he just caught me eye, and he must have thought, there's something going on there. So then the police are coming after me. Wah, 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 wah. So the police stopped me. So this copper gets out the car. He opens the door. He sees this fella with nothing on. And he sees me. And he goes, the copper said, what the fuck? That's what the copper said.
Yeah, go on.
Anyway, he gets on his radio. He's screaming down the radio and all that. And just then, thank God, the fella with the hammer came round the corner.
Yeah.
So then this other copper ran up to him and grabbed him. Or 2 of them grabbed him. Then he came up and I said, listen, mate, I'm a comedian, I'm working on the club. I said, this fella is chasing him. And he went, and then he got the fella with no clothes on, took him in the car. And then the copper came up to me and he said, all right, mate, you're free to go. He said, we don't understand what's gone on. He said, he's found him with his missus or something. And I said, fucking hell. I said, I'm sorry, you stopped now.
Yeah.
And I often think, what would have happened to me if that fella would have just give up running with the fucking hammer? Mm. And I'd be in the fucking Frankie Allen in the paper and the picture of this young lad like that with nothing on in the car. I wouldn't be sitting there now. I'd be fucking ruined.
Hilarious.
So that's a true story, but that's kind of like a lucky escape story.
I just want to stay on the escape vibe for a second because I know you're looking through your notes there at the different vibes that you've got going on, or the different stories, should I say.
Yeah.
But I'm
looking. Oh, yeah, that's what you said. That's what I'm doing.
No, I've got a couple that I want to talk to you about anyway. So there's 2 stories that stick in my mind. I'll go for them back to back. But the first one is, whatever happened that time when you were in a boxing ring and somebody chased you out the venue or something like that?
No, what happened was I'm in a boxing ring. This has happened twice. The first time I'm doing this boxing ring, and I'll tell you where it was. It was in Stoke. And a few years ago, it still goes on now. I think some of the lads still do, but it's very, very difficult to do. These amateur and professional boxing matches, Sometimes they put a comic on as well, a comedian, and you're working in the ring.
Yeah.
Very hard because you've got 4 audiences. You're surrounded. So you're telling gags, you're telling jokes and picking on people in front of you, maybe 200 people or whatever. There's people at the back can't even see you.
I've seen you do it, yeah.
Do it, very hard. You've got people on the left and people on the right. So what you've got to try and do, I mean, I'm more experienced than any comic in the country. What you've got to do is you've got to do it and you've got to turn around very slowly.
Yeah.
So everyone can see you.
Yeah.
You know, everybody gets like a 10-minute, 5-minute thing. You're turning around, you're telling gags, hoping that they can all see you. So I'm in this boxing ring and it was called in Burslem. Anyone will know Burslem down in Stoke, an area of Stoke, and a big boxing tradition down there. It's a little bit rough. And a lot of the lads got in there. It was fucking heaving. They had these boxing young lads on. First of all, he starts off with young kids boxing, then they move on up, lightweight, middleweight, and then right at the end of the night, you've got 2 heavyweights fighting.
Yep.
That's like...
Is it like a white collar vibe?
No, it's not white collar.
Yeah.
You know, it may be a 6-rounder or a 3-rounder or whatever, but it's not actually white collar. These fellas are proper, you know, kind of like, not professional, but amateur, but real boxers. They go to a boxing club. So I'm on a fucking stage, picking on people, and a fella came in with his missus, and he were very scruffy. So I on the mic and I went, fucking hell, look at these dirty, filthy, scruffy.
Yeah.
So the fella just runs towards the boxing ring and jumps in the ring and tries to grab me. Everyone's fucking laughing, everyone's screaming, laughing.
Yeah.
And then his missus, this old scrubber, she got in the fucking ring as well. So she's punching me on the back. So I just grabbed her and got in a headlock like that. And then the other fella is trying to fucking hit me. So I'm trying to hit him on the side of the head, but I'm going round the ring. Then we just fell onto the ropes, all of us, the 3 of us. Then there were Dorm and their bouncers, but they were a bit slow getting up. Yeah. And they just jumped up and they grabbed him. And they grabbed her and they took him away. But it's a funny thing, really. After that, you know, all the crowd was singing silly songs, making words of Frankie, you got battered, and all. It's just fucking taking the piss, you know. Yeah. And then done a couple more gags. That was the end. Now, the other one happened, it was in Liverpool. And it was in the Adelphi Hotel. Not far from here, a little bit of a walk from here. Yeah. And I'm in a boxing ring, doing a big show, hundreds of people in the crowd. I'm having a go, picking people. I'm savaging this fella. Fucking hell, mate, you're ugly, aren't you? And a fella came in, he's quite old. But I think he could have been like, he looked a bit of a broken nose. I think he could have been of an ex-boxer. Yeah. Like a bit of a hard lad, bit of a tough fella. So I said, and because he was old, I said, hey, mate, this isn't a shortcut to the crematorium. Fuck off, you dying bastard. So he's like kicking off and he's looking at me like that. And then there was a curtain on one side of the room. He's walking through and everyone's screaming, howling, laughing. I said, don't go behind that curtain, mate. You'll never be seen again. You'll be cremated. So he ran quick. He ran right into the fucking, jumped in the ring. And I knew straight away then, the way, you know, you see these boxers lift up the rope.
Oh, you knew that he knew what he was doing?
He was a boxer, yeah. So I thought I was going to get fucking hammered here. So he lifted the fucking thing up like that. So he threw a belt at me and I just managed to get out the way.
What do you mean? Oh, he threw like a punch?
Yeah, he punched me, tried to punch me. He just grazed my shoulder. He missed me. So the next thing is, I grabbed him with my left arm in a fucking headlock like that, trying to push him down, and he was pushing up. And then we just started going round and round and round. But nobody was stopping it. Yeah. No one got in the ring.
Were people laughing, or was people a bit like, what the hell's going on?
They were just kind of like entertained by it. Yeah. Not really laughing, just people shouting out, go on, Frankie. Yeah. You know, I wasn't really hitting him. I just had him in his fucking headlock. So we're going round and round and round. And eventually, he was a little bit old. He was I was only young then. He was a lot older than me then. And in the end, I think he just got tired. And he just stopped. And he went, and I said, hey, mate, fuck off. Yeah. And he just got out of the ring. But nobody came, you know. No. I could have got knocked out. Anything could have happened.
Yeah. it makes me laugh because like a lot of people will be listening to this or watching this and thinking a lot of these stories are far-fetched or that you're like kind of like over-exaggerating or that couldn't have happened to him. I've always heard people say, I've heard this story 20 times from 20 different people, but they're all legit, aren't they?
Look, I mean, I don't have to tell lies.
Yeah.
If people want to find out about Frankie Allen, if he's had trouble in places, all you got to do is look in the fucking newspaper or on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, I've had, as you say, near-death experience. I've been stabbed. I fucking nearly died. I mean, I've got a story to tell. I couldn't write a book. I could write an encyclopedia of different things. But it's not just me.
Yeah.
I know you see, this is what people, it's a sad thing in a way. A lot of people are brought up now on this. I'm always having to go with them, and I shouldn't do really, alternative comedy. They're going to these clubs and they're seeing a comic come on stage. And he's going, oh, yes, have you ever noticed when you go in the Asda, you ask them for a bin bag? And they say, you want a bin bag? Follow me. And then you follow them and they go, what do you want? I want a bin bag. Why are you following me? You told me. I go, what the fuck? The real world that I'm in or used to be in or when I was younger, you know, stag shows and in the 80s and 90s, people aren't aware of it. You know, the comics, I'm not the only comedian that's been attacked. You know, there's a comedian, Jimmy Carroll. They won't mind me mentioning his name. Yeah. He got attacked and now, you know, he's never the same. He can't work anymore. Yeah. You know, he was in a coma. I know other comics that I can name, I won't name them, but well-known comics that have been stabbed, that have been attacked. Because a lot of these venues, particularly a few years ago, it seemed to be a lot rougher. People viewed a comedian as a kind of a toy. You know, they had no respect for you. So sometimes you'd come off and they'd say, you're fucking rubbish, you'd start arguing. I know a few comics that have been really badly hurt. I know one comic who's had, he was on stage and he was just telling jokes and whatever, and he said something to a fella, and the fella went right round the back of him, blindsided him, and it knocked all his teeth out and broke his jaw, you know. So this isn't just me. This is a thing that I'm like, really want to bring to people's attention. It's a high risk. Working the clubs in the UK, working as a comic in a lot of these places, is, you know, for the money that you were getting as well, not a great deal of money years ago, was a very high risk profession. Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of, you know, it's molded your character now, hasn't it? It's molded my character, and I don't want people to get the wrong attitude, the wrong impression, I should say, to think that every time you go out, there's fucking blood everywhere and you're fighting everywhere. No, I've had some fantastic nights. There's some great crowds where I've gone in, places have been bursting, and it gets it, you know, a big atmosphere in the club, and fellas are coming up to you, Frankie, have you brought the girls with you? It's kind of like going back to like a caveman thing, where you get a different reaction from an audience when it's all men. Yeah. And I was like, it's probably like, the only way I can describe it really is because of my persona and my character, there's a lot of division between different cities in the UK, rivalry. You know, a lot of comics from Liverpool wouldn't go to Manchester at one time and vice versa. A lot of comics in Yorkshire won't go to Manchester. Blackpool and Preston don't like each other, the people there. Norwich and Great Yarmouth, Norwich and Ipswich hate each other. Portsmouth and Southampton hate each other. A lot of rivalry. And that kind of extended into the comedy world as well, where people would boo a comic if he came from another city, different city. But with me, I've been very lucky, really, because my persona and charisma kind of overrode that. I was welcomed everywhere. Yeah. And it's kind of like... I know it's going to sound ridiculous. It's like a cowboy riding into an Indian reservation and he just can't believe that he's just ridden in there on his own. Yeah. So everyone just goes quiet. Okay. So that's what it was like. The first time I went to Manchester, I was down in Withenshaw, I was on with a couple of strippers, and it was like about 300 lads in there, real Manchester lads. And the compere said to me, are you from Liverpool? And I said, yeah. And he said, what are you doing here? I said, be sound, it'd be great. And I just won him over straight away. So I've always had that gift of being able to work in those environments and being accepted. But as you say, people don't realise that world. It was fantastic in a lot of ways, but it was very high risk. Yeah, but it has also developed some tall tales, do you not think? In what way?
You told me that there's a story going around about you. Now, most of the stories, as I said, are fully legit.
Yeah.
But I heard the story about you that you got stabbed in the head on stage and then you stayed on stage telling jokes while the knife was still in your head.
Well, that was something that kind of got under my skin. I was quite annoyed about that, really.
Go ahead,
I didn't like
it.
it. And the story was flying around. There were two stories that were flying around.
Yeah.
And my mate Danny Downing in Benidorm, he told me, he said, Frankie, listen, there's a story going round about you. Because he'd been my best mate since we were kids. He said, a lot of people won't tell you. He said, so I'll tell you. He said, and this story was going around that I was in this club and something was going on. And I hit someone in the crowd. And the crowd went for me to get me. And I went in the dressing room and I crawled out of a little window.
Oh, no, I've heard that story. Loads of people have told me that story, yeah. But it's not legit, is it?
Never happened. It's a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
And I've heard it from famous people as well. There's a famous footballer, you know him as well.
Yeah.
Don't know whether I can say his name or whatever. And he was telling everybody, do you hear about Frankie crawling out of a window? And I said to him...
I know who it is, yeah.
Yeah. I said to him, his name begins with P. I said... Fucking window. Which window a grown man can climb through? And in the dressing rooms, traditionally all over the UK, you've got a dressing room, you have a sink in it, you have like a chair, there's some bingo balls and a bingo fucking machine. Most of them haven't even got windows.
Yeah.
Some of them have got doors, see?
Yeah.
Or most of them have a fire door that you can go through.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to escape, you go through the fire door, you wouldn't climb through a little tiny fucking window. So it's just ridiculous.
But
so
that fella,
that was just...
He wasn't even gossiping,
Have you heard that
was he?
story?
Yeah, and I heard it from the fella that you're talking about, telling somebody else that I know. But the fella that you're talking about, the ex-footballer...
yeah. Played for Liverpool in England,
He's great. He's a boss fella.
No, he's great, but he believes that happened, and it never happened.
Yeah, he wasn't like digging you out. He wasn't like trying to be sly, was he? He was just...
He wasn't being sly. I'd be the first to say, I wouldn't give a fuck if that... I'd say, yeah, fuck it, please. I climbed through the window. I've never climbed through any windows to get away. What did happen, which he may be getting confused with, I was in a club in Wigan and a fella came up to me and said, Frankie, the lads are really looking forward to seeing you tonight. I said, brilliant. And he said, the only thing is, a lot of them won't sit at the front. They're terrified because you'll pick on them. So I said, well, I will pick on them. I said, but I want them to sit at the front. So we had to bring the lads forward. And I went on and we heard a crash. And what it was, this is true, a fella was dying to go to the toilet and he was at the back. So he would have had to walk towards the stage and use the toilet on the left of me.
Yeah.
I would have seen him and obviously I would have picked on him, would have savaged him.
Yeah.
So he walked out into the car park. He climbs through a window to get into the toilet.
Okay.
Inside the club.
Yeah.
From outside so I wouldn't get him.
Yeah.
But he fell.
Did he hurt himself?
Hurt himself.
Go on.
Yeah, there's blood and everything. He scraped all his hand and everything.
Yeah.
And he came in, a couple of the lads ran out and he said he's okay. And at the end of the night, Jerry, the fella was running, said, Frankie, all it was, he was terrified that you'd get him. So he went out into the car park. He put some fucking, I don't know, crates or something up, climbed through this fucking narrow window. He was going to have a piss in the toilet. I said, why didn't you have a piss in the yard? And he was going to get him, but he lost his balance and he fell in. But I was trying to get away from me. But that never happened. And the other story is that's flying around, or it was flying around, which is totally the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. I'm supposed to be on this club in Manchester and I'm picking on this big fat fella. So I'm kicking off, hey you fat bastard. You're sitting on 4 chairs and all this. And the fat fella's laughing his head off. So I'm picking on this other fella and the fella runs up to me and he's got a knife. So I'm telling jokes. So he stabbed me with a knife. This is what's supposed to have happened. And the knife is in my head. So I've got this knife in my head, but I just carried on telling jokes. You know, I mean, what fucking planet are these people on?
Yeah.
And then I'm telling these fucking jokes, and then I said, gentlemen, going to take a short break. I'll be coming back on in the second half. I think I've got something on my head. And I walked off.
And are you supposed to have gone back on stage?
Came back on with like a bandage on my head.
Yeah.
It's just, it never happened. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what you're up against. People used to call it Jack the Giant Killer. There was a nursery rhyme, or a fable, I should say, a story years ago. And what the story was, this fella, he killed 5 flies.
Okay.
And he put on a belt or something, I've killed 5. And he was going around, everyone was terrified of him because they thought he killed 5 giants. I don't know how the fuck it worked out, but it's something like that. But certainly, it's a bit of a laugh, people telling stories. But the main, I don't even mind that one about getting stabbed in the head. That's just rubbish. But I don't really mind that one. But the one that I hate is that climbing out of the window thing that never, ever happened.
Yeah. I'm glad that you've clarified that, because people probably believe that story if they've heard it before. The one story that I want to kind of finish on, because this might take a little bit of a while, because I love this story, is a story about an Elvis impressionist that I'd like you to tell.
What happened was, a few years ago, because I had a reputation for being blue, I could be clean in clubs. A lot of the local agents, anywhere rough that you literally wouldn't throw a dog in, they'd give it to me.
Yeah.
You know, I've told you before, one agent, there was a club in Liverpool not far from here called a Sandon.
Okay.
And there was a sportsman's dinner there once a month.
Yeah.
And he used to put 2 comics in there, pay them good money. And I knew even then, 20 years ago, they weren't as good as me. I could have smashed the place to pieces, brought the house down, but he wouldn't put me in there.
Yeah.
And the reason was, he put me in this club underneath it called Sam Dodds. Now, in this Sam Dodds in Anfield, and I don't give a fuck if anyone from Sam Dodds is watching it, at the time anyway, probably one of the roughest places in the UK.
Yeah.
There were killers, people who've killed people, shot people and all that, were in there all the time, different gangs, and I used to do it on the bank holiday Monday, heaving like a football match. And I'd go on standing on a stool in the corner.
Yeah.
So I'd be literally, to get people listening, I'd be offering people out. Hey, mate, shut up or I'll punch your fucking head in. Smackheads kicking off, people threatening me.
Yeah.
Having said that, as you saw when we were in Runcorn on Saturday, that kind of a crowd, they were a little bit rough and we had no microphone.
Yeah.
I took to that like a duck to water. That doesn't bother me. I can do venues now that nobody else can do because I've had that experience. Yeah. So, that's what happened. But the Elvis thing, what that was, fella gave me a job, an agent gave me a job, and he tried what he tried to do. He said, it's a lovely new restaurant in Speak. I said, a fucking restaurant in Speak? I don't know any restaurant. He said, it's called the Limewood or something. I said, what the fuck? I wonder if they've built a new thing.
Just obviously there's people all over the UK listening to this, people abroad listening to this, in Australia and that.
Yeah.
Fill them in.
Speak is very, very rough.
It's an area of Liverpool, yeah?
Fucking terrible. Anyway, so I get down to this fucking restaurant. Now, there was a pub in Speak, a reputation all over the north of fucking England, a terrible rough pub called a Flying Saucer.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible. So I'm pulling up at the car park and there's this pub and it's all burnt outside. It'd been firebombed a few days before.
Yeah.
Then about 30 dogs came round the corner in a pack with all the tails up.
Yeah.
And then painted, sprayed against this fucking wall. Franny is innocent. Kill Billy. He's gonna get it and all this. Fucking rough. I went, oh my God, this is the Flying Saucer. So I thought, well, I'll do it. I'll go on. So then a car pulled up and a fella got out. And this fella was dressed as Elvis Presley. And I knew this guy from Birmingham.
Yeah.
And he walked up to me and went, hello, Frankie. And I said, all right. I said, all right, Dave. Dave was the name. He went, Frankie, what the fuck's this? I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't like this, Frankie. I don't like it one bit.
Yeah.
I said, no, it'll be sound. Frankie, no, I don't like it, Frankie. It's fucking rough. And all, they're talking.
Yeah.
He said, no, he said, I'm going home, Frankie. I'll fuck it off. I said, look, come with me. So I took him into the club.
Yeah.
We went into the back and the manager came in, bit of a local hard case. He went, Frankie, it'll be sound. Listen, mate, don't worry. I'll look after you. And he's going, you sure? You sure, Frankie? It's not going to go off, is it? Frankie, I'm not a fighter, you know. I don't like fighting. And when I looked at the crowd, you should have seen these fucking lads. You could smell cannabis drawn everywhere. All smoking drawn, all kicking off. A little bit of a scuffle in the corner. So I went on. Went down okay. Went down great. He went on. They were all fucking heckling him. He was trying to sing and all that. So he comes in his dressing room and he goes, Frankie, I want a word with the manager. So the manager come in. He said, what is it? He said, listen, mate, keep your money. Keep your fucking money. Yeah. Keep your club. Get me out of here now.
Yeah.
Look, he said, there's a fella kicking off on me. He just shouted, I'll fucking kill you, brummy. I'm going to fucking kill you. I said, no, it'll be sound. I'm not going back on. I'm not going back on.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. I said, listen, do me a favour. Pay him his money.
Yeah.
I'll go on. I'll do a bit longer. He said, all right, Frank. The fellow was sound.
Yeah.
So we paid him. So he said, Frankie, I'll walk him out into the car park, put him in his car. And I said, okay.
Wait there. I need to stop here.
Yeah.
Because I think you're missing a tiny part of the story.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody think he was a busy dressed as Elvis?
Ah, that's right.
You're
right there. What happened was, a lot of Liverpool people are very paranoid.
Yeah.
They think everybody that doesn't speak Scouse is a busy.
Explain to the people what a busy is.
Busy is a policeman, a copper. They call them busy bees. They're very suspicious of anyone who's a bee. I mean, I've had it myself. I've been in Highton with a suit on with a mate of mine, Tony Riley. He's living in Tenerife now. I walked into this fucking oak tree in Highton and everyone's going, they're busies.
Yeah.
It's fucking total paranoia. I nearly ended up fighting it. I said, hey, mate, I'm not a busy fucking comedian. Anyway, somebody had said they're just paranoid with the smoking the cannabis all day. And he's doing Elvis. But he spoke in his normal voice. Yeah. And he's going, funny enough, I heard these lads talking. I was standing there and one of these lads goes, get on him, get on his voice. He's a busy. Yeah. And his mate went, his shoes, he went, he had these trainers on, but they were kind of like, you know, the way everybody gets trainers in Liverpool, they're very different, aren't they? Yeah. The rest of the UK. These are like trainers you'd see, I don't know, like army people would wear it. You'd buy in like, I don't know. So this fellow went, he's got busy trainers on. I went, oh my God. He's a busy. So he said, do you think I'm the police? And all. Anyway, fuck it, as we got him out. So he said, Frankie, don't worry, I'll walk him to his car. Mm-hmm. But he didn't walk him to his car. He only walked him into the car park. So as I'm leaving, I'm hearing, Frankie! Frankie! I ran out in the car park and this fella's got him like that by both of his hands, dressed as Elvis, swinging him round and round and round. Yeah. And these fellas are waiting to fucking hit him.
And what happened?
I just ran over and said, hey, mate, fucking put him down. And he's swinging him on a... So the fella, who the fuck are you? So I hit this fella. Yeah. I just hit him on the side of the face like that. He was a bit stunned. And then I said, get in my car. Now we opened the car. So he jumped in my car. Then we drove. And he's going, Frankie, Frankie, I've never known nothing like it in my life. Frankie, leave me car there. I don't care about my car. Take me to Birmingham. I'll give you the petrol money. You know. I said, no, it's all right. Yeah. We drove him round for about an hour. I went to McDonald's, got him something to eat and a cup of tea, and I got to about 12 o'clock. I said, they'll all be gone now. Mm. Funny enough, we got back to the car park. Everybody was gone. And it was just his car in the car park. And he got in the car and he went home, yeah.
Belter. Yeah, okay. So I think we'll end on that note then. Hilarious story. Enjoyed
Good job you reminded me of that. The busy thing, I'd forgotten all about that, yeah. They give him a bad time and they were swinging him and all that and they were going to give him a belt because they thought he was a copper. Only because he didn't talk Scouse. How mad is that?
Yeah, it's hilarious. So listen, I hope you've enjoyed listening or watching to this podcast. We've enjoyed having you along for the ride. If you are listening on your podcast provider of choice, please give us a 5-star review. It goes a long way. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumb up, get yourself subscribed. There's so many people who aren't subscribed to the channel. Dad, do you know why they're not subscribed to the channel?
No.
Because the majority of people, 60% of the people who are watching this are over the age of 45 or at least over the age of 35. Okay. So they don't know how to fucking subscribe like you do. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know how to subscribe. I'm a fucking 80s man.
So do us a
how'd you
favour.
do it?
Do us a favour. Anyone who is watching this on YouTube, get a fucking account. Subscribe to the channel. It's the only way we can grow this. Bring you more podcasts. Bring you more videos. It really, really does help. So even if you don't know how to subscribe, ask your fucking daughter, ask your son, ask your missus, ask someone you know, and get subscribed to the channel because it would be greatly appreciated. So, Dad, have you enjoyed today?
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been great. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you've been entertained. And a big thank you to somebody said to me this week, your Will, what a presenter, what an interviewer, should have his own TV show. He's the business. He's great. Me and him work together. Fantastic.
Nice one. We are the Scouse Morecambe and Wise, according to some people. So we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for listening or watching.
See you later, everyone. Thanks.